Baby, can you pray tonight?
Gonna intro, right?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome back after the small little break. We are about ready to go into CCG against AHK Gaming, and I'm here now joined by the lovely Nexay. And yeah, we're going.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. What is up? Here we are coming back as LSC Week 2, Day 2. Coming back at the second game of tonight. We just played the first game. I was actually the top player of that game, guys. Game was pretty exciting, but let's move on to the next one. We have on one side the AHK,
AHK,
who is
yes.
pretty much on Bitcoin, or say. On our side, we have CCG. What would you say is gonna happen here? Is AHK beatable?
So it's going to be very tough. AHK currently 3-0 in the standings, and they look very strong. Didn't like the games were all pretty confident wins. As CCG, we saw them yesterday. As their draft was pretty good, but in the end, the draft from Pace they didn't have an answer for it, and they just fell a little bit short. So I want to see them stick to their guns, stick to what they know, and try to really create a draft that can set up some team fights and maybe get a little bit of early ganking jungler that can create a lead into the lanes at the early stages of the game, so that they create a lead and AHA is gonna have a hard time and are going to fight up against the clock.
Well, exactly. I'm pretty sure I would definitely give an upper hand to AHK here. They're just kind of pretty clean, like start of this regular season here, 3-0. Definitely a strong message to other teams. CCG needs to bring the things together to find a way how to come back into this one. There's still a lot of matches to go here. Um, are they gonna try to surprise AHK here, or what do you think is a strategy to go against the best team in your group here? What's your opinion?
Yeah, it's very tough. It all like comes down. Do you know what champions like they really play? They really play around. I feel like they should know what they first picked in the previous games, um, because I know back last week we were together and Jackie George went pretty hard. So maybe that's a point of
Mm-hmm.
attack you really want to look at as today maybe it could be a different type of we already saw I think it was UEFL. They were 3-0 at the start of this week. Now they lost twice, so that probably gives a little bit of hope to CCG, and um, maybe they're going to be able to pull off a win against AHK.
For the Van phase, they're banning Nivea, strong lane on the middle and other side. We see Udyr and Olaf banned. Hmm. Are they trying to get some priority picks in that side of the map? Since we see literally even Maokai, third champion was banned. Jungle and top, actually mostly jungle. Could be also top lane full tank, but we see a lot of bans targeted towards that side of the map. What kind of draft can we expect with them here? We see Psylocke team pretty strong AD carry, probably one of the best in the patch after Caitlyn, pretty safe, pretty like solid in every scenario. Has synergy with almost any support. Let's see what's the answer here from AHK.
Yeah, they pick up the Amumu, which I like. They bend away a lot of junglers already. They go back to the Ornn, always very safe. It just, like you were saying, Zaya fits a lot with many supports. Ornn just fits in every single team comp. Just have him in your top lane and he will be doing fine. Um, but yeah, you don't really have to pay much attention. I see a good team fight forming for AHA. They have the Amumu, they have the Ornn. There's still a little bit of flex potential with the Amumu. It could always go towards that support role as they lock in Malphite on the side of CCG.
Ooh, that's pretty weird actually. Malphite is getting buffed, but the next patch, that Malphite, I mean, it can be okay into Ornn, but I think Ornn is still just doing more in this matchup because that ult is just bigger range as well as he can upgrade the items for his teammates and his CC is just, he has more CC actually. Malphite can just do more damage with the armor. But with the Alistar, there might be some good engages actually. Pretty solid combo here.
Yeah,
And
I think the
AHK,
Alistar and Malphite pair out really well. They are kind of the same champion, uh, but just Malphite has a little bit more damage. Um, and I like that they picked up those two. It's a little bit out of left field, a little bit of a surprise pick. As they pick up a Zaya to answer the Kai'Sa, or a Kai'Sa to answer the Zaya. Um, we have seen
I
Zaya win
mean,
this
they
matchup
definitely.
multiple times.
They definitely had to pick some AD carry here. There are not a lot actually of safe options. So if you don't pick AD carry here, you're gonna get banned out pretty much, and that's like a really big problem here because if you have immobile AD carry or with low range dashes, it's gonna be a lot of issues there to peel off against Malphite and Alistar. Now we see bans towards the mid lane. What kind of matchup can we expect there? Maybe Victor, maybe something like Pantheon again? Or what do you think
I
will
mean, we
players
have
pick up
seen
here?
Victor be very strong and very dominant throughout this tournament. Uh, like last game, he just does a load, like loads of damage at just one random point. He just uh, has skilled up, right? And it's Victor is always a very strong pick as Diana is now being taken away, which I find a little bit weird. But yeah, no, it's I think a Victor would be a good pickup. I don't really know what other mid laners. I was about to say the Vex for the side of CCG, but they banned the way themselves. So um, I think only time will tell what they are going to play for these mid laners. And there's still, I think, a jung, two jungle. I don't know actually what's left to be picked with all these flexes. But yeah, we'll just wait and see, I guess.
Well, I definitely agree here, but I expect some high damage picks. Oh, and then we still see Ari locked in here. We see a lot of like tanks on both sides, so I was expecting actually hard scaling mages on the mid lane. As we see that Ari getting locked here, I will definitely think that AHK will lack damage here if they go into super late game. But uh, CCG has a lot of like options here. I still think they should go for something that's gonna like scale really good against Ornn and Amumu because who's gonna kill them? Yeah, sure, Sai is a strong AD carry, but we need some. Yeah, exactly. Cassiopeia here locked in, and she's a really good counter to any champion here. We have four champions with the dashes. Cassiopeia here, 10k pick, like really big brain, like good drafts. Uh, Homework done here from the side of CCG as they're like missing jungler here to complete this draft. They definitely outskill, but AHK has a lot of pro picks in the early game. Malphite definitely unavailable until level 6. Uh, yeah.
They pick up the
What do you
Vi
think
as
is gonna
well.
happen early game here?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a very passive early game. We might see a good 2v2, depending on what AHK is going to pair up the Kai'Sa with. It could be the Amumu, but it could be still anything else. But the 2v2 from CCG side looks pretty good with the Alistar, some clean engage, as they pick the Trash, which is great for peeling and great for playing a little bit more defensive. So I think the early game, especially in I guess across the board, it's just going to be pretty slow. We can see a Mumu gank early, we can see Vi gank early, but I think once the ultimates are unlocked, that's really the moment when the game starts picking up a little bit of pace.
Oh, I would definitely agree. For the early game, still, I would give a slight advantage to AHK because they do have the Ari. They could try to make some plays around the map, try to get a priority mid lane, even though it's gonna be hard. Uh, in that mid lane against Cassiopeia, especially when she gets a bit of items to match that hard showing from Ari. Cassiopeia, to safe, can farm against Ari pretty good, even if shoved in under the tower. that out attack E combo is pretty good for last hitting out of the tower. Bot lane, pretty aggressive picks. Xayah, Alistar on one side, on the other side is have Kai'Sa and Trash. They might be going some there might be happening some early like hooks from Trash, but I think that's gonna like change a lot of things for that pace of the game. Um, what I think about like about objective priorities. Who is gonna try to take Drake and who is gonna go to the Herald first in this game?
Yeah, I think it. I mean, I would say it would depend on the Drake, but I feel like it doesn't have to. It depends a little bit on where the junglers are on the map at what time. I personally do think Drake stacking is very important. Especially, let's say you get an Infernal Soul on a Cassiopeia. She will just be way too strong to deal with. Or let's say another, a couple of Mountain Drakes on your Malphite. Just to scale that armor like so high. And I don't know how much a Amumu and an Ari can really deal with a full tank Malphite. Because he's gonna be armor focused, but yeah, he's still very tanky even if you're a mage. So uh, I think depending on what Drake it is, the importance really rises or lowers for the side of CCG. And for the side of AHK, I think they need the Drakes for their late game insurance, like you said. They do lack a little bit of late game damage comparatively, so the Drake Soul could make up for the lack in that.
Well, exactly, and middle matchup is gonna be pretty important for both junglers since we know Vi as well as Amumu are pretty slow junglers in the early game, but after they get some like rotations, after they get some items, there could be auto play potential from both of them. As we see, they have a lot of like CC to lock one or even in Amumu's case multiple people down. Uh, yeah, definitely some openings from both sides here. Um, as AHK, I would just definitely try to get something going on in the early game because we know how oppressive Cassiopeia can be in the late game, and she has enough room with those three supportive champions for her. Malphite going in, Alistar being around to peel, as well as Vi locking someone down. Sorry, um, gonna be pretty like hard to deal with that in the late game. Those tanks are gonna get pretty much melted. Uh, Except if she goes route of ages, then she will take a little bit more time to scale. I would prefer Liara here, definitely. Just melt those tanks. They actually have three tanks with trash being locked here. Um, do you think Kaisa and Ari will find enough room to counter that in the fights later?
Yeah, it's all going to be about the mid game. Like if Malphite is just going to walk around and fight ultimate onto these targets, then there's nothing much for them to do. They do have a Amumu that can really delay the engage, so they get a little bit of movement and they get to position themselves in a good state for the start of the fight. I like the Ari pickup as well, so you're a little bit more mobile around the map, and you will be able to, uh, yeah, have a good position. And even when you're getting ulted, you still have a chance to get back to a safer spot for a little bit. Um, but I don't know if it's going to be fast enough. Like Vi will still follow you with the ultimate, and Malphite is just a very fast, basically projectile. And if you're not careful, I don't know if you can stay alive for long enough because if Malphite hits you or if I hits you, Cassiopeia will throw the miasma underneath you, and there's nowhere for you to go.
Exactly, a lot of locking potential on that side, especially if there is like a priority target like Kaisa. Vi is gonna lock her, and after that Malphite follows up. I don't know if she can move in that case because there's literally not an option to like do anything instead. QSS doesn't work. Only option was to I don't know lock in Tam Kench to try and eat you, but that's not really a thing in these days. So gonna be really hard to peel off those engaging champions for the side of CCG. Um, who would you give upper hand if you didn't know the names of the teams in this draft phase?
Um,
Who would you like be voting for here?
I think in that case, the CCG draft, I've, it looks more logical to win because it's just very easy to execute. To just press ult on either Malphite or Vi, and it feels just way easier. And the follow up is also pretty good. Um, and on the other side, yeah, it's a bit weird. Um, with some mages like the Ari, I don't imagine them being able to deal well with a Malphite. But I hope she's going to, and I hope she's going to prove to me that mages can also deal with tanks like as good as AD carries are able to.
Well, yeah, we need to be careful. Malphite is really vulnerable early game. Before level 6, no escapes. He could be punished in the early game if needed. Even though you don't get a lot if you get a kill on a Mumu or Orin, still they can maybe at least force out a summer so that he has to be careful in that lane. Mid lane in the early game, Ari is gonna have that priority because she just pushes faster. But the more minutes go into this game, as Cassiopeia is just gonna be more and more oppressive. Uh, Bot lane, I'd say the Kais and Trash will have the upper hand in this matchup. Sure, Alex and Xai are pretty solid, but Trash, we all know if he lands that hook, he's gonna change CC. He's even gonna like dash himself to you. He's gonna pretty much be near you whole fight if he lands that hook. You're playing bot lane, right? So what would you say about that matchup specifically here?
Um, like normally in my games, I would like my support to just stay with me and have the 2v2 fight. But in this case, I would like to see uh, Thresh and Alistar both leave lanes and both look for an advantage, maybe around this mid lane. I think that's where you really want to have the lead. And both of these AD carries, they will scale fast enough. Um, with the proper runes and with the proper items, both of these will be able to take down to take down these tanks. Like Zarya is very good at just shredding front to back, uh, and then the backline behind the tank just has to be careful because the feathers will be there. Um, and I think Kaisa is very good at dealing single target damage, but so as long as the Kaisa isn't getting targeted or isn't getting ulted by Malphite, she should be in a fine position. As we load into the game and there's an immediate pause, I think someone is having issues.
Game is paused. I think we're gonna see what's going on. If it's not gonna take a while, we'll just continue from here. If not, well, yeah. Uh, do you think the jungle is gonna just typically both of them gonna path for bot, or do you think we might see some early aggression from any of them here?
I
Maybe
hope
Vi?
some early aggression towards this mid lane. Like before level 5, Ari isn't that strong or isn't like that hard to catch out. So I think it's going to be a good target to maybe look for Ari in the earlier levels. Because if you get your Cassiopeia ahead, um, you're just in a great spot, right? Um, and yeah, it's going to be interesting as we see Ignite being taken by the Ari and by the Trash. Um, they are going to I think look for more aggressive plays. They don't want to outskill the game as they yeah, and I like that choice. I think because looking at the drafts, CCG will eventually outskill them.
Well, exactly. And we see here typical covering strategies, nothing too crazy. They're just gonna cover all of the interests from both sides. Actually, on top side, Vi can go for a D4 on the Raptors because we see that the Mumu is like not covering that part of the map. Um, I think she just wants to pixel bush it and recall like a standard thing. We see another pause actually coming in.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think
Some player probably has issues.
exploitative.
Support CC. or they're just trying to do this for a mental edge, you know. You pause the game and then enemy is like, okay, what the hell is going on? And then you're like, no, everything is fine, and then we continue, you know. And then you get the slight advantage in the a mental state.
And
No,
maybe
we're seeing that support has DC.
maybe their team captain wasn't completely done with their pep talk, right? So he's taking this time to uh, complete the pep talk to get their team hyped. But yeah, I think it's just exploitative having some uh, connection in issues. Um, I hope they will be resolved soon enough. There are no early game shenanigans going out, so that's all. I guess good. It's always very painful if there's a pause and you just see someone like basically they're ready to die. Um, but right now, I don't think it matters too much. Even the buffs will only spawn in 20 seconds, so we're just gonna wait for exploitative to get back into the game. Um, and yeah, maybe it's just the nerves, you know. Like maybe he had to put him some fresh deodorant or something because he was sweating because he was
Probably.
scared.
He had to take a shower. Had to take a quick shower, like, or something like that. Could be possible, yeah. As AHK, sorry, I would definitely like try to get this lead on Kaisa here because she's gonna be the main carry in this scenario, and definitely need to be careful how she fights and how she positions in those late game fights. Um, should have a decent amount of tools to somehow survive, but on her own, she also needs to be out of range of those ultimates from Vi and Malphite. But then if they have flash up, it's gonna be still hard to like do anything. You might just be caught off Vi by surprise. If she flash R's, you can even flash away. It's gonna follow you. Malphite is coming after that. If required, he's also gonna flash. And yeah, the thing is like really keeping an eye on Kaisa here. On the other side, I would say that Cassiopeia is gonna be a player to watch for CCG. He counters a lot of champions here without miasma. Uh, really looking forward how he's gonna perform in this game. Matchup wise, definitely keeping an eye on that bot lane since we see that both supports went for those engaged supports. Trash also like could be bidding for his team, but we're definitely expecting some plays from that Trash, right?
Yeah, and
And pretty passive, like two tanks per team.
yeah, what I think is interesting. Oh, as he reconnects, both of the supports are running glacial. Uh, I don't like to see it on these types of supports. I'd rather have any of the resolve tree. I think they are just better, especially for the Alistar, because you basically just want to become a second tank. The later the game goes on, um, but they are opting for the glacial. But I feel like AHK has quite a little bit of movement, especially later on in the match, um, to get out of the glacial area of effect from either of these supports. So uh, I don't really love the glacial pickups here, but I guess I can see it work, but I don't think it's the best right here.
You would prefer Guardian here, right?
Yeah, Guardian
Or
would be
just go for the typical, or just the aftershock, like just
yeah.
tank you and engage. What's
I
your
think
thoughts when you have a support?
I think those would be better options, but that's also because I though like it's more traditional, so I feel like it should work better because it worked for all these years. But maybe their read on the meta is better than mine, so we're going to we're going to see how these champions are going to play around it. As exploitative reconnects once more, I hope everything is going to be fixed and there are no further issues going to come through. And what I do still want to talk about uh, is that And the Kai'Sa, she has exhaust, and I think that's a very important summoner spell for her to pick up, because when either Vi or Malphite is on top of her, she will be able to at least lift the upcoming hits. Um, and yeah, I think that's going to be interesting as we just have a little bit of a freeze frame here, but I think that's all going to be fine. Um, but yeah, it's I think we're going to see the game really start to move into a little bit of a better pace once these junglers, especially, hit level 6. I also wouldn't mind to see Painter move towards the side lane or Jester Druid towards this mid lane. Um, I feel like this early game could be more action packed than usual, so I am excited. So, if you were, let's say you were the jungler for AHK, where would you put your yeah, where would you put your first gank? Where would you try to generate the early lead?
Well, if I can be like on AHK side, just try to get this case lead in some way. Try to pressure the enemy to like if you cannot kill them because they're too late, then just make sure that they're pressured constantly and like don't let them like feel free to like step up for those minions at least. Also like if not gankable, make sure to ward for your own laners because we might see that Vi going for that bot lane too at level 6. Um, Also, the way I want to look out to is gonna be a in lane farm up for her items, and yeah, as Ari definitely want to try to get enabled to roam and help other lanes, especially that bot lane. It would be easy dive on level 6 with Ari roaming down, as well as the Mumu ultimate being an option. Then you also have Trash, who is gonna like pull you out of the tower with that uh, lantern. So we might see some players like that on next, but so far pretty passive game as we saw.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be pretty passive for the first couple of levels, but I think soon enough we'll see a lot of action come out because there's so much potential on most of these players to look for a play, look for an easy way to engage, and I think that could change the course of this game so drastically at the early stages. That getting the early lead and trying to set up a snowball, because we have seen snowballs being so effective in this tournament. Um, if any of these teams get a good snowball rolling, then I think that's just where you want to be. And we already see the Alistar moving towards this mid lane, and Painter might be in a little bit of trouble. Never mind.
Well, that's just nothing's gonna happen there. Malphite getting pretty low on mana here. Gonna be hard to continue this laning. Probably gonna reset soon. Trying to push this wave under tower probably and get that reset. Even though he started here, he is wasting and using a lot of mana here. Pretty high mana cost, not gonna lie. And yeah, like start of the lane, nothing crazy is gonna happen on that side of the map. As we see that bot lane, we spoke already, like Isaac and Crush getting pretty in the early game. They're showing the wave under the tower slowly. Mid lane wave is pushing to Ari. That means that she could be able to set up a freeze if the jungle is nearby. And if
Jacket
Cassiopeia
drawers
extends, could be gankable early game. As we
flashing
see,
away.
Vi going in.
It was aggressive there
Hey,
from
goodbye Flash.
AHK. Ooh, exploitative, really looking for that hook. It's AHK trying to look for the lead in the
Mhm.
2v2, trying to get the early lead, but in the end, they were the ones that got run down and they had to use the flash from the Kai'Sa. So I think that's a one game for. Um, uh, yeah, a one game for or one play for CCG. It's a tiny one, but yeah,
Both of the teams are resetting on that bot side of the map. First Drake Cloud. I don't really think people are gonna focus around that Drake a lot because it's hard to take. You take a lot of damage even if you're like 3 man, like jungle with the bot lane. It's gonna be like a lot of time waste if you like even get it. I would just farm up, scale, and look for maybe that Herald spawning in about 1 minute, a little bit more, as we see this Cassiope farming up, which is like pretty fine for him. He just wants to stay in this lane. He doesn't have to do anything crazy. Getting low on mana here, has TP up in AHK side. We see that Ari running in with that ignite. I don't think that's the best option here because you want to like get the most value of those of the summers, and you will not really kill Cassiope in lane, so Ignite is probably not the best option here. And yeah, heal cut is probably needed in the late game against Cassiopeia, maybe even Vi, but I don't know if Ari is gonna be able to get in that range to do that. And with the TP being available for her too, that means you can get a reset for yourself too. But yeah, we'll see. We see that Cassiopeia already used that, and Ari uh, actually roamed down for that Drake. They actually went for that Cloud. Okay, they had a little bit tempo advantage, they used it. Here we see Ari actually overextending, but she's covered by her teammates, and so you see that Y is trying to get in here. Okay, nothing crazy happens, a little bit of damage to that Amumu. Hmm.
yeah, they are looking for
And
engages
nothing
here
crazy
into
is
the mid
happening this
lane.
game.
Yeah, they are looking to find angles to start fights, but now Ari has level 7, so with the Spirit Rush, still has the flash up. Very hard to look down. I feel like you need Alistar to be able to flash on top of her. Um, as AHK is able to pick up the
Ooh, okay.
AHK is
Rylot had
pick
to
up
cleanse
the
here.
Rift Herald. Yeah, exploitative hitting the hook. It connected, but ultimately didn't uh, didn't find anything else. Rylot, did he cleanse that? I am not pretty sure, but I do see it on cooldown, so maybe he did, just to be safe. And looking in the inventories, CCG has got cookies stacked up for both of their bottom laners, which I always have like a little bit against because you have them, so you better use them and you better like play aggressive so you get to use them. Because that's like one of the few advantages you get with your rune selection. So you need to make the most out of it.
Mhm. Well, exactly. And top lane still like just very like slow lane, pretty passive. They're trading a little bit here and there, just trading that mana for HP, and they both just are blocking each other's damage to the point where the trades don't even matter that much. Here in the mid lane, we see that Cassiope is still being able to farm. He's actually a bit up on CS in that mid lane, which is pretty good for him, as he is getting close to his mythic item. He actually listened to me and he went for Lianos here. That's really vital in this game because we see Thresh, Amumu, and Ornn in the opposing team, and that's gonna be a lot of HP stacked on that side. And yeah, for that top lane also, we saw that Ornn is just even in lane gonna do a bit more than this Malphite, but we might see some Herald play soon from CCG. Where do you think they're gonna use it actually?
So the Herald is now in the pocket of the Vi. I do see a lot of people mid, so I get the feeling they really wanna get Birch ahead. So preferably they would like to use it into the mid lane. They have I don't know what the Herald cooldown is, but they have plates for a little bit longer than 3 minutes. That's the moment when they are forced to having made the play, as Rilo takes a good trade but gets hit by the hook. Um, does use the ultimate but
Ooh,
falls.
actually, he's gonna fall here. First blood in hands of AHK here. He had no plans. He used it last time. It was still on cooldown, like pretty low cooldown sounder. But when you don't have, you know, disrespect the enemies. You know your support is roaming all the time. You just need to let some minions die. As we see here, Vi is going back to re-engage on this Thresh who is gonna give the launcher to his Kaisa, and Amumu is there to cover, so not gonna be anything happen here. He's gonna pick up on that Xayah. They know that she has no plans up. They knew exactly when it's coming back, and they pick up that kill on the bot lane. Uh, really good use of the summoners and taking advantage of Xayah wasting that summoner in the previous attempt, and they're now getting the priority in this bot side jungle.
Yeah, and there you see exactly the reason
Uh,
why they picked up the trash. The lantern right there was able to get Jackie George back to safety, and he is starting to scale up a bit. With the boots complete, has a slight lead over the Zaya, as Jester's going to look for a trade, but I don't think these top lanes are ever going to kill each other, as the herald
okay,
is being
there
used
might be
bot.
some action. There might be some 3v3 in that bot lane again. Um, will they try to contest to block this herald? Yeah, actually, yeah. CCG here not being able to allow this herald. It still gets hit on the tower, but nothing else than a couple of plays getting here. As we see that Malphite actually out trading the Orange here. I think he had a better reset, and Orange still being able to tank enough of the damage. We know that Orange is just gonna like overtime easy without any problem, and Malphite here bought enough magic resist to block Orange's damage, and we see some preparation for HK for this dragon. Um, Top runners have TP up, but I don't think they're gonna use it before minute 14. And HK here getting priority for the Drake. As we see also this Ari going pretty aggressive this mid lane. Vi going in. Will this be enough to take down Ari? She still has ult up, and yes, Kara will kind of fall down here down. No, she misses the ult, and Ari is cleaning her up. Vi coming back to try something, and it's not gonna be enough. Ari still stays alive as well. They took the Drake, and the game is getting out of the control for CCG here.
AHK pick up everything right there. They managed to take down the mid jungle duo. Still are able to pick up this Drake as well. Now two Drakes in. It's a mountain soul, so if they pick up two more Drakes, I feel like this Ornn and the Amumu are going to like look very much unkillable. And you don't, yeah, like you lose your chance to one shot the Kaisa. Once the soul is like completed and the soul passive comes through, because I don't know if the Vi and the Malphite will have the damage then to deal with it. Um, and yeah, as you're saying, it's going completely out of hand. The Herald, the play wasn't very good. The gold only went into Kensei, who does know how to play the Vi. He played had a pretty good performance on it yesterday, but ultimately the Vi is not supposed to carry your game in the draft you have gone for. You'd rather have the gold on either Cassiopeia or your Zaya, as Zaya might be in a little bit of trouble here under the bot tower.
Is another problem with Amumu not to grab the hook here. I saw she had the cleanse up. I think Wild here he couldn't stay alive if the hook lands because Trash can dash to him. He has heal ult and ignite. That's a lot of damage if he flays you into that ultimate. Was Isaiah getting actually DC'd? What's happening? He was a AFK and then okay. There is some problem with AD carry. Well, what we can say happened? Cassiopeia and Vi stepping up when they don't have enough numbers in that bottom. Uh, Ari here going actually a bit too aggressive on that mid lane. Uh, Pains are trying to like use his teammates as a backup to get alive in that fight. Uh, Kaisa getting kills, getting that power spike on the Kraken. Then Vi re-engaging after that. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me because sure you can pick up that Ari kill, but it's not gonna make a change if you die to Kaisa. or Ari want to get advantage if you're playing against them. Yeah, they're stacking the Drakes too as well. Pretty much AK is carrying this game in pretty good control so far.
And I
What do you
think
think?
when
Is Birch gonna be able to change something here with this Cassiopeia pick
I mean, he does have his item
at
complete,
this rate?
doesn't have to be bothered about the boots, and the tier is already at 360 stacks, or I think it just turned over. So once it connects, it should be good as we see Reload reconnect, and I think we're going to head into the game pretty shortly. But yeah, what you're saying, I think your Cassiopeia has to get some kills, but it's going to look so hard to get onto anyone. Like Kaisa is very mobile, especially with a trash that just peels a lot. The front line is just so tanky, and I feel like you need at least two items to be able to deal with it. And the Ari will still be able to just press ult in most cases, and I don't think you can really stun lock her in your miasma. Um, the only thing I don't know if you are what if you are in the miasma and you get thrown a trash lantern. I feel like that will pull you out, right?
I don't think so. It blocks every dash because you're when you take the lantern, you're dashing to your ally. I think not not 100% sure, but pretty sure that you cannot use the lantern there. If not, Trash will be literally broken to Cassiopeia because that miasma literally blocks everything, even the flash summoner. So yeah, and the game is continuing here. AK have a little bit of advantage of the CC here as Saya needs to go back. He got pretty low here, and even with ult up, I don't think if he can survive this aggressiveness. Actually, he chooses to stay. We might see a dive happening here.
Yeah, the Zaya with ult is, I personally feel like the safety of an Ezreal whenever that happens to me. Maybe a bit too not like too much, but I think Zaya with Alistar next to her is pretty safe right there. Um, because the tower still does loads of damage to either Thresh or Kai'Sa, so they have to be careful. And if they are not on the same page, they won't be able to take down the Saya without losing anyone themselves. And what I like about CCG, um, it feels like Rylot has been alone all this time trying to 2v1. Because it has been. Because Indies is currently roaming and has been roaming for the whole game. Is going to lose out on some levels, but he's really trying to find a lead for his mid laner. Um, but I feel like maybe you should have played it aggressively more. Like if you charge your Hex Flash right there, you might be able to get onto this Ahri. Because you are wasting time of three members right now trying to bait out the Ahri. But if no one pulls the trigger as the Hex Flash comes down,
Ooh, we might see some aggression here in the middle and Vi getting in, Alistar knocking her up. That's still not gonna be enough. Ari here outplaying them all and she finishes this Alistar off even though he had this ultimate up. Ignite is gonna burn through his health. Here he's showing off his skill level with that level 7 Ari
yeah, it
and
was painful.
yeah, that just like they tried to force the Tronari. I don't see a reason for that. You have the Cassiopeia, you have the Xayah, let them scale. Vi also going for that Divine. She's also gonna be pretty solid to boost up the damage from her ADK as her W cuts the armor off the enemies, and we see here Ari again hitting that charm, pretty securing much this tower for the AHK, and I don't know. Verge here, they put a lot of resources into him, and he seems to be having a rough time here. That's a really, really big problem for CCG here. Then you have that pick on the middle like Cassiopeia, and you have Alex constantly being there to cover you, as well as Vi trying to play for you, trying to like protect you all the time, and they still manage to kill you like so many times in the early game. That's really gonna be problematic. Is there
Uh,
any way to come back in this game?
Yeah, I mean, there should be like still loads of ways because the gold draft or the gold difference isn't very big, but Drake's is now gonna be picked up 90 minutes into the game, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit yeah tough for them to get grasp of this game because, like you said, they are wasting or investing a lot of resources into this mid lane as um, Elik Mamusa might be getting dove, but I think he is fine because he's still full HP. Um, but yeah, it's
So just a desperate try from CCG trying to get that tower, and Malphite actually does end up getting it, trying to use that Carol for at least something, and he's here getting pretty low. Vi is gonna cover him, but he's not sure where the enemies are, so he doesn't want to go crazy. And Malphite stays here alive as Ornn couldn't do enough to stop that tower falling down. We see that Trent is going in for this Malphite, but okay, Ornn getting his hands dirty in this tower, and Malphite stays alive, had to flash out Vi and us are still there to cover him if they're going for this dive here. But okay, AHK is actually definitely trying to get his top tower here. Uh,
I don't think Kensei
will
can defend
CCG?
this.
Okay, we see TP coming in. We see that dive happening on that Vi, and she falls down. And CCG is trying to get something out of this fight, and Ornul just stops them from re-engaging on the uh, members of AHK who got pretty low in this dive, and they have to just fall back as we see this Ari coming in from the flank, and she gets charm on this Malphite. This Malphite has no flash, he has nowhere to go, and he's gonna fall down in hands of Jackie George. Another kill. He gets that finish on this Malphite, and that's the first kill of ADK of AHK. But Kaisa getting really stacked with those items, and yeah, a lot of things going in his hands, and this guy is just having a really good show here. As you see, AHK just snowballing their lead, and yeah, they have a lot of incomes here. Baron has been spawned. Fort Drake is gonna happen relatively soon, so a lot of things you can play for here. Pretty sad situation for CCG here, as we see that they're trying desperately to do something to get back into this game, but it's really hard as AHK is not giving them enough space to do anything, and yeah,
Yeah, it looks very tough for CCG. AHK is just besting them like across the map. Um, it all starts with Ari picking up like a couple of kills. Well, she should have realistically died, but they wait too long, and then they feel like they have to force something for all the time and effort they have invested, and the play doesn't go as planned. Then in the top lane, they group 5 men, or AHK groups 5 men strong. They get more picks, and I thought for a second that they could have picked up Baron because it spawns right on time right there, but AHK made the decision to not go for it at this instant because if you somehow lose that objective, the enemy is completely back into the game as Rilo gets engaged on.
well, yeah, and we see that this Ari is just trying to mix a lot of plays as we see this move picking up the kill on the Vi, finishing her. That Vi is completely out of this game, and we see that AHK is just going to the jungle. They're trying to make that pick that already happened. Vi is down, Baron secure, and AHK here doing exactly the right play. You know Baron is spawned, you want to make that play in the enemy jungle because you have a lot of fed allies, and here Vi completely disrespecting that priority that AHK has here. They picked up the Baron. I don't see how they can drop this game after this play.
Yeah, it was a very easy pickup. They were just waiting in the bush, and then CC is very easy to land. And there was no real way for yeah for I guess CCG. That jungle isn't theirs anymore, so I don't think they can even contest this Drake that's going to spawn within the next minute.
This is just a disaster for CCG as they literally cannot walk up into their jungle. Like everything is just contested by HK here. They're gonna secure this um, mountain so, and after that they're literally gonna be unkillable. I don't think even this Cassiopeia with this item is gonna do a lot of damage to them. As we know, this mountain is very giving that good amount of shield to the side of AHK, getting 2 months and a soul, and yeah, after that, AHK will lose the end of this game. We just see some tier 2 towers falling down with this Baron being still, Baron buff being still available for them, but they're actually, yeah, they're sieging that mid tower, and we see another pause here. We see the top lane DC probably. How should CCG even protect themselves in this case? Like, I don't see any like opening to do anything at this point.
Yeah, they. I guess they should have been more effective around this mid. With their mid lane gangs, we saw many opportunities for um, yeah, many opportunities for the Alistar to make a play in this mid lane. Kensei was there, we saw Birch was there, but then they waited too long and they went in, couldn't get like the complete combo down, and now they are how many 6,000 gold behind, are going to fight against the Mountain Soul, and
Hmm.
like it's not going to be much easier because Orn has hit level 14, so he's going to get those items. Like he's gonna buff his team so fast right now. We see Ari already with the upgraded Luden's Echo, or I think that was the previous before it got reworked. But anyways, I think it's going to be so hard for CCG to find any angle. It's going to be have to be a massive mistake coming out from AHK, um, uh, if they like want to lose control of this game, because it feels very patient and very slow. But it doesn't look like AHK is here to lose out on the game.
Oh, I mean, that's literally like what's happening here. Exactly explained pretty well. What CCG did wrong here? Well, we see that Bertrand pretty like priority pick here, and they actually tried to play around him. We saw him a lot of like pretty aggressive picks for that mid lane, Silas, Akali, now Cassiopeia. So they like actually trust him a lot, and this game he just couldn't do enough to bring his team an upper hand with that Cassiopeia pick. He first plays together with his jungler and support in the mid lane. Didn't end off that good for him, even though he had that miasma to try and this allow Ari to move. It was just not enough. Ari is just having a pretty clean game, even in a tough matchup here. And we see another tower being siege here by HK. Um, there is like only top tier 2 left to get down, and I think this Baron buff is gonna end soon. They might try to use it, the last bits of it, to get some damage on this tower in the bot lane. As we see this Thresh
And they're
trying to
just
land that hook pretty close to hitting
yeah, they're
that
just going
Alistar.
to use this Baron and
Momo
siege
going in,
slowly, like they're
and
looking for the engage.
he just got peeled off, and he gave up on that idea after that. He locked down 2 targets. It just wasn't the right targets, so he couldn't like do anything after that. Momo after that ult, you don't have a lot of things to do. Sure, you have Q follow up CC, but ult is the main thing, and it just wasn't the right targets.
No, and the worst part for CCG is, um, Orn isn't even here. He's just still in the top lane farming, getting XD, and you can't even match him. Like it's yeah, the game feels very tough right now. And it's in complete control
Exactly.
of AFK. Like they can just keep siege and keep taking these towers, and whenever who
Ooh,
comes,
trash lands
they
the
can
orb,
look for an
and
engagement.
there is not any action here. HK just playing this slow, exactly like last game. They don't want to like rush anything. They know they got this game in their hands. They're just taking last bit of resources in their hand and maybe potentially getting the second Baron. They don't have to rush anything here. They're gonna have even more items on this Kaisa and Ari, who are literally getting everything for free. Whole enemy jungle, all the farm enemies. CCG here can't even walk up as we see this Arthur going in on Trash, and this Trash is cooking them both. And we see this Orn is trying to make an engage here, and CCG is actually just not doing enough, and AHK just cleaning up
And they don't
hands
have the
down as we
damage.
see that CCG is actually surviving this fight for quite a time and bring out some damage, but it still doesn't enough. Like Orn is pretty much like a rock. As we see this Kaisa going back in with engage, and here Cassiope gets a big shot on the trash, and oh, what's going on here? Cassiope cleaning out the AHK here, getting a lot of gold, and Kaisa is going back in this fight. Triple kill for Cassiope here. Cassiope, he will get to stop. Okay, okay, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
literally like, whew, quadra kill for
And
Cassiope, and we see this Ari ending on the game. Holy, what's happening here?
yeah, the fight looked amazing for AHK. They get the pick, and our that's all while their fat Ari is still in the side lane, just pushing. Then somehow Birch manages to turn around the fight. A great petrifying gaze, gets many members. He picks up a quadra kill for himself. Now all the kills on the team are on him, so he does hit his stage of, yeah, I can deal a lot of damage now. Does fall into in the end, and Jackie George picks up a shit down because of it. So he's going to be well on his way to his fourth item, and you do lose half your base in this 4v5. So ultimately, I don't think CCG really won out that hard as they as they could have. Like, of course they got kills and they didn't lose the game yet, but AHK is still managing to make the plays and are now going to look for a Baron.
Exactly, Baron is spawning up. Second Baron of this game, and we see already AHK trying to melt it down. As you see, this guy is literally soloing it and doing so much damage. With the moment, it's even faster. Like, two champions are taking this Baron so fast. Sure, CCG won the fight, but their base got literally destroyed. Down, this game being picked up by AHK. There is gonna be a terrible disaster for CCG here. As we see, they're trying to kill this Ornn. I don't think that's gonna work out. Yeah, this guy is literally a rock. Literally, he's Malphite but better. I don't know. He is taking damage, but that's literally taking already like a whole minute. Like, and okay, he's ulting here, and we see that Ari is here to cover him up. And CCG is definitely afraid of this Ari. He can literally one shot him here. He has this void picked up as well as Shadow Flame, and that's just a lot of penetration against anything here. And we see pings getting down for this Elder. I mean, CCG does literally their last shot here, and we see they're trying to walk in their bot jungle as they get engaged on by Thresh. Thresh lands that hook onto the Cassiopeia. She gets chunked out before this fight starts. Thresh hitting her another hook. I don't know. And Arik here going in, poking a lot of the backline of CCG. Cassiopeia here really low, and CCG here really needs to be careful. As we see, Ornn is TPing, he's trying to end here. What's going on? And AHK should be actually trying to stop CCG, but no, they're actually trying for Elder, and they're actually playing with their mind now. CCG here needs to choose, do they want to do the Elder, do they want to protect the base? Ornn is still in their base, Cassiopeia actually backed, and Mumu takes down the Drake. CCG here, I
Yeah,
think this is just a GG. Ornn is literally facing Cassiopeia 1v1, and he's one-shotting her. Yeah.
they really gave CCG a very hard choice. Like, either go back and save your base or give up the Elder, and we can like 4v5 you later. And CCG didn't know what to do. I think there are going to be another couple of kills being picked up, but Nexus is being killed, and AHK uh, they pick up another win.
GG's.
And it's a very good game coming out from them. They didn't really make many mistakes. They only had 4 deaths because of that crazy turn from Birds in the top lane, and that's all like that happened for CCG. They like didn't get weren't able to be anywhere onto the map, um, and yeah, slowly the damage coming out from these members is just amazing. It's this AHK team is one to look out for, and they are going to be very tough to beat.
Well, absolutely, and to just slowly but surely make sure that um, they get this win. It's a perfect slow and steady approach. Like the first game, we what LG did. They're just getting every bit in their can, and after that, there is not any option for CCG to come back into this game. Pretty unfortunate in balance for them. They tried to make those picks in the middle and it just couldn't work out for them. I don't know. Pretty unlucky game for them, honestly.
Yeah, it was just a solid plan from AHK, and everything Crowd Control Gaming tried to throw at them was just not good enough. And that's something you have to work for. I like their game plan. I like what they were trying to do, but now they just have to work on the execution. And luckily, the season isn't over quite yet. We're having, I think they are Group B, so we're having like what is it, 6.5 weeks in total for them, um, and we're not even at the halfway point, so they still have time to work on it. And I think they, I hope they will try to get these plays working out for them towards more of the end of the season.
Well, exactly. And yeah, game 2 AHK just doing what they already did. 4-0 in this group B. Pretty much nobody can stand up against them, and we'll have to see what happens with them. Will they have a in hero split, or is there somebody who can actually beat them or be even close? Because so far, HK, phew, really solid team here. GG's, congratulations to them. 4-0.
So yeah, we're going to move on into Maniac with my range against TLPP really soon. We're gonna take a quick break, and it's not going to be long because of the breaks. We have to move up the time a little bit, but yeah, we'll just take a break for about 2 minutes, and then we'll be back with the draft for the final game of today.